Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Michael Fanning, and this is Warm Up 260. And today I'm talking about a podcast by Brene Brown called Unlocking Us. And today she was talking about a book called Burnout, two sisters, and I forget their names, but you can look the book up. And I'll put a link to her podcast in this warm up this morning. So here's the things that I thought was really interesting is that in our life, right, we think about it. We are very much emotional beings, and a lot of times what happens is stress manifests itself into sickness, whether it be through our digestive system or through our back pain, heart disease, that type of thing, right? It manifests, but the problem is this: stress is not bad for us. It's not completing the stress cycle and getting out of stress. And that's what they're talking about in this podcast. That's what they talk about in their book. Right now, we see a lot of people hitting burnout because they're not completing the stress cycle. So she gives 7 things that allow us to complete the stress cycle. So there's stress, and then there's stressors, right? So stressors are, I didn't get my income tax filed. Stressors are, I'm having a conflict with somebody at work. Stressors are, I'm having a bunch of arguments at home with family. Those are stressors. Stress is the emotion that we bottle up inside, that we don't manifest it out of ourselves or exercise it out. And what it does is then it changes and becomes sickness, right? I always know in my world, whenever I'm really stressful and I haven't worked it out, it always shows up in me in back pain, right? It just does. And so she kind of walks it through it. So we all manifest stress through pain. In some way, shape, or form. So how are you completing the cycle? So the example is, so you're really stressed and you get that one thing that was really stressing you, you kind of accomplish it, but have you gone through the stress cycle? Because that was the stressor, but you haven't dealt with the stress. So here are the 7 things that they talk about in the book. Number 1 is physical activity, just moving your body. So I know if I had a really stressful day, exercise for me is a huge one, or going on a hike or going on a walk. Number 2 is breathing. You know, monks tell us it's the only thing that we carry with us through our entire life is breath, right? And it's the only thing that is consistent. It has to happen every single day. Yet how many of you are aware of your breathing? How many of you have breath exercises? Number 3 is positive social interactions, right? How many of you have that, what we call that circle of friends, those people that you can count on that are there for you to positively reinforce you? Or do you have that cage of friends, those people that pull you down, right? So that's a big one. You guys, number 4, when was the last time you really laughed? And I don't mean like, I mean like that gut laugh that you can't stop, that laugh that brings you to tears, right? Laughter is so powerful, yet there's so many of us that just walk around not laughing, not finding humor in things. We take everything so serious these days, right? Everybody is so offended. You guys, find laughter, find those places of joy. Number 5 is affection. Just a hug, a 20-second hug. Not a weird hug, a real hug, right? But just, feeling that affection. Number 6, crying, right? Letting that actual built up emotion express itself. Crying is a great thing. Crying is a way to relieve stress. And then 7 is creative expression. When was the last time you did something in the arts? Or I always know that when I play drums, right? When I sit down and I let that artistic expression happen while playing drums, it's just such just a great feeling, right? An overwhelming feeling of just a release. And the other thing is interesting, I'm playing a band and we still practice. And we practice most Sundays, but all my band members will say it's one of the things, right? Getting together in the band is one of the things that just allows them to kind of work through their world and what they're going through right now, because it's something they look forward to. Why? Because think about it. It's physical activity. It's positive social interaction. It's laughter. We kid around, we joke, right? It's also creative expression. So it's addressing a lot of these things that allow us to move through that stress. And I want to end by saying this. So the thing that she said is this. She says, stress is not the problem, right? Stress is not the problem. It's being stuck and not having a mechanism to move through that cycle. And she says, life is not about, finding a safe harbor and staying in the safe harbor. Here's what life is about. Life is being in a safe harbor, venturing out into the rough waters, knowing that it's going to be there, the stressors, right? Navigating through those stressors and then hitting another safe harbor and then doing it again and again and again. And the thing that comes back is how many of you have these 7 things in your life that you've looked at? Because here's the worst part. It's not the stress that makes us sick. It's hanging on to those toxic emotions and not working those things through, knowing that there's more coming, and they compound on each other. So if you're finding yourself in this day right now being stressed out, what can you do? Physical activity. Think about your breathing, positive social interaction, laughter, affection and hugs, crying, creative expression. All right. And also just listen to the podcast. I'll put a link to it in here. It's called Unlocking Us, and it's on the book Burnout. Maybe even read the book. Pick the book up. I just put it in my Audible, so it's something that I'm going to start listening to as well. Anyways, you guys, sorry for the airplane. Hey, make it a great day. Be awesome and help somebody. Vote. We're so close. We're so close. Talk to you later.